Hey everyone, good morning and welcome to today's episode of MC Commute starring BMW Motorrad's F900 GS Adventure. Who's ready to go for a ride? There it is everyone, BMW Motorrad's F900 GS Adventure. This is a midsize plus adventure touring bike from BMW Motorrad out of Germany. This is the sister model to the leaner and meaner F900, which was overhauled for the 2024 model year. This F900 GS Adventure adopted some of the changes that the F900 GS got, like that oversized 895cc parallel twin engine and that 9-inch travel inverted fork with adjustment. But some of the other changes, like the bodywork and the asymmetrical headlight, remain the same. All right, everyone, who's ready to hop aboard this bad Billy Goat and log some miles? Woo! All right, folks, here we are on BMW's F900 GS Adventure. This is a midsize plus adventure touring, full-fledged adventure touring bike from BMW Motorrad out of Germany. This vehicle differs from the standard F900 GS in its more touring-friendly accommodations. So let's get into it right away. Sitting on this motorcycle has a low seat height for an adventure touring bike, but it's still pretty tall. We also just love this seat on this motorcycle. It is crazy comfortable. It is broad, it's plush without being too plush, and there's a lot of room to move around. This is a very nice seat, and if you're looking to burn a lot of miles, you're gonna like the seat on this motorcycle. It's also worth mentioning that BMW Motorrad always has optional tall and low seats that you can get when you purchase this bike so you can have a more comfortable fit. This is the traditional seat. I wouldn't mind having the tall seat because I'm a taller person standing at 6 foot tall, but even this traditional seat, it is crazy comfortable, very nice. The handlebar on this motorcycle, it is nice and wide, it has an upright bend. There is quite a bit of rearward sweep, but if you want the handlebar to have a more traditional upright bend for dirt biking, you can just roll it forward by loosening these 4 Torx bolts right here. You could roll it forward, have it in line with the fork tubes, and that's going to give you a little bit more aggressive posture for off-road riding. Honestly, this bike is a little bit more touring friendly, so having the handlebar rotated backward a little bit like it is really nice for street bike riding. We like these plastic hand guards, which do a good job of keeping the wind off your mitts. There's also heated grips that you can engage with this button right here. You engage it and you can see the heat element in 3 increments. These heat grips work really well and really get toasty. We don't need it though because it's 69 degrees Fahrenheit. How fitting. The rear sets on this motorcycle, they aren't too high, they're not too low. We really like the oversized size of the foot pegs, and they have a lot of good grip. The serration material on the foot pegs allows you to have a lot of grip against your foot pegs. This motorcycle has great ergonomics in both the seated and standing positions. This motorcycle feels very much like a dirt bike. It's right where you want to be, and there's a good amount of surface area to squeeze the bike with the inside of your legs. I always like doing that when I'm riding off-road because it just gives me more stability and allows me to charge a little bit harder. So ergonomics of this motorcycle are awesome. We have a 2-position adjustable windscreen right now. Right now it's in the low setting, and we can move it to the high setting by pushing that lever right here. The high setting's nice, but I wish it was even higher. Another inch would go a long ways to keeping that air and have it go even higher over your head. It's not terrible, but 1 inch taller would be nice. We're gonna put it in the low setting. That just gives us a little bit more air into the cockpit. Very nice ergonomics overall though. This motorcycle is powered by BMW Motorrad's oversized 895cc water-cooled parallel twin engine, dual overhead camshafts with an 8-valve cylinder head. This engine has higher engine capacity than the previous version. That was a change that BMW Motorrad did for 2024. This engine is awesome. It makes upwards of 85 horsepower at the business end of that 17-inch rear wheel and nearly 60 pound-feet of torque. A lot of pound-feet of torque, a lot of torque to get up and running here. The engine is complemented by a cable-actuated clutch and a 6-speed gearbox with a chain final drive on the left-hand side of the motorcycle. This vehicle is equipped with BMW's Gear Assist Shift Pro. That's BMW talk for an electronic quick shifter that functions on the upshifts and the downshifts. This allows for full throttle upshifts without using the clutch, and the ability to downshift on or off throttle without using the clutch. It's a very nice feature. We love it. All motorcycles should have it, and it's cool that BMW offers that as a part of its up-spec premium package. That is an assortment of options that come as one for one cost. It also includes a center stand and electronic suspension adjustment, which we will get to in a little bit, and cruise control, and this GPS phone mount, which you can use to put in your smartphone or your GPS. We didn't put our smartphone in here because it requires you to take off your case, and I don't like to take off my case, so we're not going to use it. There's a USB charging port, so you can charge your phone too, and then we also have one of these micro DC ports here, so you can charge things if you have that adapter. Very nice. Handling on this motorcycle handles very well for a 542 some pound adventure touring bike. It feels light on its feet. You definitely feel the weight picking it up off the kickstand, but in motion it feels very nice, and the handling is very predictable. It does feel a little bit top heavy. You don't really notice it so much on the road, but off-road you do. But that's kind of how it goes. Having such a big capacity fuel tank, that's right, we have 6 gallons of fuel. How crazy is that, folks? 6 gallons of fuel.
Well, everyone, so far so good on BMW's F900 GS Adventure middleweight plus size adventure touring bike. I love how comfortable this bike is. That seat is just crazy comfortable. It lets miles melt away with ease. And the updated ergonomics package on this motorcycle, it feels like a dirt bike in a good way with a crazy comfortable seat. BMW Motorrad's done a marvelous job of really engineering the ergonomics on its GS bikes to feel like a dirt bike in a good way for all of you riders who like to kick up dust off-road. All right, folks, let's hop back on our F900 GS Adventure and log some more miles. Woo!
All right, folks, where were we? Yes, fuel capacity, 6 gallons of fuel capacity on this motorcycle, and we've been averaging just over 40 miles per gallon. How crazy is that? And you know we don't ride these motorcycles slow unless we're on our MC Commute ride. So 40 miles per gallon, that's a range of nearly 240 miles. So a lot of fuel capacity, a lot of range on this motorcycle, which we really like because the F900 GS has a smallish fuel tank of 3.8 gallons. You're definitely going to need fuel more often, but to be fair, the F900 GS is not designed for cross-country freeway touring like this bike is designed for. That bike is designed for cooking up dust off-road, so that is the deal. Suspension on this motorcycle, we talked about the inverted fork that has independent spring preload adjustment and compression and rebound damping adjustment. Compression damping adjustment is on the left fork leg and rebound is on the right. So not independent compression and rebound damping, which we would like to see usually when it's separate function. It does make for a lighter suspension package, but it also doesn't perform as well as independent damping adjustment. But to be fair, the suspension on this motorcycle, it glides over the road and delivers a very nice ride. We have 9 inches of travel up front and 8.5 in the rear. Out back, we have a direct mount shock that mounts directly between the frame and swing arm. We also have the ability to adjust spring preload electronically with this button right here. Of course, we have to be at a stop. Right now we have it in the 2-person setting, which has the ride height of the vehicle elevated and sharpens up the steering. We talked about the good handling of this 542 pound bike. If you want a more neutral handling profile, you can always adjust that spring preload and have it be a little bit more flat. It'll give a little bit more neutral handling, but we always like a little bit of weight on the front tire. That's just our personal preference with BMW. You can set it up the way you like it. We also have adjustable ride modes right here: road, dynamic, enduro, and enduro pro. Enduro Pro is part of BMW's up-spec Ride Modes Pro package, which is unlocked with the premium package. That allows you access to customize ABS and DTC dynamic traction control settings. that you can adjust inside the menu when you're at a stop. Very nice. If you're someone who likes to kick off dust off-road, you're going to really want this Enduro Pro setting. It just allows you to set up the motorcycle, electronically speaking, a little bit better for all of you folks who want more control off-road. Right now we're riding in road mode. There's not a big difference between the combined engine power and throttle mapped settings between road and dynamic. There never is with BMW. They're very stealthy in their engineering of those maps. Unless you're a pro level test rider, and even if you are, you're going to be hard pressed to even notice a difference between those settings. Still, it's nice that BMW offers a more aggressive setting. Dynamic is the more aggressive setting, but it doesn't feel radically different than the road setting. But it also gives you access to a little bit less intrusive traction control. But again, you have to be riding at such a high rate of speed to really even notice it, that it almost is a moot point. Still cool that BMW offers it. We have the 6.5 color TFT display that was introduced on the 2019 BMW R1250 GS. It's really nice, really sharp fonts. All the fonts are similar to BMW Motorrad other vehicles and BMW cars. BMW's had that good synergy in its fonts for a long time now, and other manufacturers are catching on, including Suzuki with its new color TFT display. You can also pair this display with your iOS or Android powered smartphone via BMW Motorrad's connected app that allows for turn-by-turn directions right on the screen. How cool is that, folks? I like it a lot. It rolls on a 21-inch front wheel and 17-inch spoked wheel with tubeless tires. Now, the 21-inch front wheel is really nice because it allows you to ride over larger obstacles off-road with ease. A little bit more wheel diameter just helps you get over the rough stuff a little bit better than a 19-inch wheel. Even though we're riding on the road, this 21-inch wheel feels very maneuverable. It doesn't really feel like there's a 21-inch wheel out in front of you, even though there is. Of course, in typical BMW Motorrad spirit, we're rolling on a 17-inch rear wheel. It loves its 17-inch rear wheels. And honestly, for this motorcycle, they work fine off-road too. The 17-inch rear wheel is a nice tall sidewall, which is always nice for folks that want a little bit of extra damping from that tire sidewall. That's a really nice touch. All right, folks, let's get ready to do our right turn, our infamous right turn. We're in first gear. I love the growl of that 895cc engine. All right, let's give her the berries. How about it, folks? Whoa, yeah! Oh, this thing goes! Wow! Wow, this bike has some great acceleration, and that uneven firing order makes this parallel twin feel like a V-twin. It's got V-twin-esque power pulses and character, and even a sound that just makes riding fun. You get the best of both worlds. V-twin power, character, and excitement with the compact packaging of a parallel twin. Very, very nice BMW. There is some engine vibration. You can feel it only slightly through the controls, a little bit through the handlebar, and only slightly through the foot pegs. But once again, it's the good kind of vibration. It's the vibration that makes riding fun. It's like there's a friend riding along with you. It's very nice. The vibration on this motorcycle, you can tell, just like the Tuning Fork brand, has been finely tuned to complement the ride rather than to detract from it. Good job, BMW Motorrad. You guys are paying attention to the details, and we see it and feel it. This F900 GS Adventure is really nice, not only because the seat's crazy comfortable in the ergonomics, but we have this huge oversized front fairing that does a great job of shielding us from the elements. The wind goes around us, which is very nice, and it's a great place to log miles on the freeway. If you needed to ride across country, you could absolutely do it with this motorcycle. And as part of the premium package, this motorcycle comes equipped with the aluminum storage racks, which you can use to mount hard case luggage to the vehicle. Now, this wide fairing's super nice, but when you're riding in really hot weather, like 90, 95, 100 degree weather, you're gonna feel some engine heat kicked off onto the rider. It's a combination of the cocoon-like fairing and just the way that the radiator shrouds are routed the radiator is going to kick off some heat onto you. It's not so bad at 73 degrees Fahrenheit. You certainly, our lower section is a little warm, but it's certainly not bad at this ambient air temperature. But you get into the 90s, 95, 100, and you're going to feel that hot air being kicked off from the radiator on your legs. It's not the most awesome feature. It would be cool if BMW Motorrad had some type of louvers, which you could use to maybe direct that radiator air away from the rider. That would be a cool feature, I think, in our opinion. You know, that's only going to really be for people who ride in really, really warm conditions. If you ride in coastal conditions at 73 degrees, you're going to be just fine. Now, this motorcycle benefits from triple disc hydraulic brakes with axial mount Brembo calipers. We have stainless steel brake lines. The brakes on this motorcycle, they have good power. The feel is a little bit muted initially, which honestly isn't a bad thing, especially for folks who are going to be riding off-road, but the power is nice and consistent, and the rear brake has really nice feel. It's a little bit soft on the power, but it has good feel, and we really like how serrated that rear brake pedal is. You can really find it easily with your right foot, and there's a lot of grip there. I'm a big back brake person. Whether I ride in the street or off-road, I'm always on the back brake. It's easy to have a nice chunky lever that's easy to grab with your right foot. Of course, we have ABS on this motorcycle, and you can adjust some of the features and turn off traction control by pushing this button. You do have to be at a stop. However, I apologize, you do not have to be at a stop. You just hold it and press it, and now traction control is off. You can also adjust the ABS sensitivity inside the menu. Everything is controlled by BMW Motorrad's signature multi-wheel controller. This was a device that was engineered for the 2012 K1600 GTL. Fast forward 13 years and it lives on today with this F900 GS Adventure. This multi-control wheel is pretty neat. Over the decades, we've really gotten used to it, so we can use it really well and access the trip computer and all the menu navigation settings, which work pretty good. Once you learn how to use BMW's menu navigation, it's actually pretty easy to figure out, easy to use. This multi-function control is a cool tool, but in today's world, it's starting to lose tactile function. Some of the other motorcycle manufacturers have finally stepped to the plate and offer switchgear with a lot improved tactile feel. So BMW, it's time for an upgrade on the multi-wheel. It'd also be nice if these switchgear was backlit.
Well, everyone, that was a fun ride on BMW's F900 GS Adventure, midsize plus adventure touring bike. I really like this bike. It's crazy comfortable on the road. Miles melt away with ease. It's got a really great seat, and the ergonomics on this motorcycle are wonderful, whether you're in the seated or standing position, especially for this 6 foot tall rider. The engine's awesome. It's got a ton of character, the right amount of engine vibration, good powered acceleration and sound, and that parallel twin configuration just allows for a relatively slim motorcycle. Of course, the oversized fairing that we talked about, which makes this motorcycle so adept for freeway use, makes it a little bit wide, but you're gonna like it if you are logging miles. Which brings us to the price on this motorcycle. Kitted out, this thing is $18,000, including the $2,700 premium package. Is it worth it? Well, it's one heck of a bike. It's crazy comfortable, and the ability to actually have some fuel capacity and range and go on trips on the thing, it's really nice. And realistically, you get a capable adventure touring bike for $18,000. I don't think that's a bad thing. It's worth mentioning that this motorcycle is made in Germany and carries a 3-year warranty. We'll see you in the next episode.